Okay, one, two, three, making a test very quickly. Guys, you can hear me. If you can hear me, please let me know. I just confirming. I just want to be sure that I actually have the microphone working full. So let me know if you can hear me. I'm just doing a quick test. Okay, so please, guys. Okay, one, two, three, making. Yes, it seems that it works. So welcome, guys, to the class number 4 of this specific minicamp. The minicamp about minigames survival. YeyoCore is speaking here, and as always, we are going to continue with the class that we left yesterday. Just to let you know, guys, for those that are just connecting, for those that are accessing right now, we are going to start first by playing some maps, most of the times from the previous minicamp. So let me say hi, welcome, guys. Okay, let me change this a little bit so you will be able to see me a little bit better. This angle, and I think we are done. Okay, no, we are not done. Right here we have like something that is cut it off in this corner. I'm going to keep it like that, just a second. And how are you guys? I see that some of you are already in the chat, so let me start with the normal class right now. Okay, so first let me see if MiniWare allow me to actually click on here, because for some reason it's not allowing me to do it. You know, guys, sometimes MiniWare is kind of difficult to manage in these situations, but we will be able to play right now, okay? And how are you guys? If you want to, or you have any questions, please let me know, and I will be more than happy to answer all your questions, okay? I know for sure that some of you were reporting me that there are some problems with the script. Apparently that's normal. It's just because we left a couple of things to do as an extra part in your game. So don't worry for that. Let me take the time to resolve that, okay? Now, let me think the next, or let me help you out with the next thing. Well, let's just try to play one of the maps of the previous minicamp. Yesterday we were making or completing this specific map, the map that I showed you, that it was actually very well done, and I really like the game, okay? Now I'm going to show you another one of the maps from the previous minicamp. Alright, now, for now, I think most of them are going to be multiplayer, and you know, guys, for sure, there is some problems when you try to play multiplayer with me, because I am in Latin America right now. I'm located in Latin America, and most of you guys are from Asia. And what happens most of the times is that you wouldn't able to play with me, because, you know, the servers are from different regions, and most of the times when we have that part, or when we have that situation, we won't be able to play, because MiniWare separates the players in a different server. So Asia is going to have one, Europe is going to have another, and Latin America and North America are going to have another server. So truly sorry for that, but let me try to play a single player game that will be also very enjoyable, okay? So I'm accessing right now. This map is a puzzle map. Guys, once more, if you have any question, just let me know into the comments. So with that, I will be able to know what specific part of the minicamp you need more explanation about, and that will be better for me to also know how it works, okay? So let me read you the different information about this. It says, you have to fly from this place. Actually, this is not Spanish. Oh, actually, yes, here is in Spanish and English. Sorry for that, I was reading in Portuguese. I'm not the best in Portuguese. I can understand, but I can barely talk Portuguese. It says that after returning to this place, after so much, is not good, and you know it. But the person that we are playing with, has to return here for some specific reason. Okay, it's telling me that I forgot my memories and there is no time to lose. We need to complete some specific task to exit from here to be able to recover our memories. Okay, in your inventory you will find an axe. I think it's an axe, right? Let me check my inventory here. Yes, I have an axe. Okay, it's telling me that I have to be ready and I have to just have this axe ready also for the monsters. It's telling me that the best way to exit is just by following the road, but there will be something that is going to stop me. Let's see if on here I can find any extra item. Okay, there is no extra things here. Oh, there is also a cigarette right here. Okay. Now let's see what happened. Oh, and here there is some loot here. Let me try to check the second floor. Very important. On this window, sometimes something can be put it on. Okay. You want to make it a little bit harder for me, right? So the game developer put a lot of chests here. It knows that we are going to be a little bit curious. Okay, it's not. Okay, there is nothing here, there is nothing here. I really hate when this happens, guys. I don't like to search by, I don't know, by different chests. For me, it's completely upset, but well, as this is a puzzle map, well, I will do it, but most of the times I don't like to do it because of this. Okay. Probably you are seeing my screen too fast. Oh, I forgot to show you this. So I'm playing right here now. You should be able to see my screen. And... as you guess, I'm very quick on this because of practice. Hey, there is nothing on this chest. I think I lose my time just looking for the key. Oh, okay. No, I do have nothing here. Alright, so there was nothing in the chest. I lose my time in here. I just going to exit. There is only one exit here. Yes, there is only one exit here. Welcome, Chuan. Welcome to the class. Alright, so we are playing just another map. On here, we have to exit from the forest. As I'm playing in single player, I'm going to just move this a little bit, so I will be able to see a little bit better. Okay, what it's telling me here? Okay, it's telling me that there is going to be like a bot or something. Bot means more like I don't know, the place where you actually check some specific parts for the wards, or where you have something to storage some things. And here is telling me that at the beginning it was have questions about if this will be a good idea, but right now he thinks it's not. Okay, so there is kind of ritual here. Oh, okay, there is an X here, and it's telling me that I have to ask me what is happening here. Okay, there is no time to lose. We have to keep follow the path here. All right, so now what we got here? Okay. At every turn on this forest doesn't seem to have an end. It will be better to get out of the way. There is too much darkness here. So it's like a text adventure, guys. Okay, something that you can do is just like this map does. Just by creating those like lights in the path, you will be able to guide the players through an adventure. We have forgotten the barn. Maybe there is cool. Okay, sorry, I wasn't able to read this. Maybe there he could find something useful to escape. Okay, it seems that we lost our friend around here. Okay, there is the park, and what we got here. There is blood everywhere. I don't like this. I want to leave now. Okay, so our player had here like a point to reborn, and the player is worried, or our character is worried because there is too much blood here. Of course, it's an horror game, so there will be some horrors around this area. Okay, what we got here? Nothing. Oh, okay, we got something. Okay, we got a miniature block. Oh. Okay. So that, I think that was the key. Let's see if we can recover the key. Okay. Alright, it seems that our adventure is going to end here. Alright, it seems that this map was created for a player that has very good ideas, but it wasn't like the best playing this. Welcome, Tuan. Welcome, Grand Adventurer or Zane. Alright, so yes, it seems that this map is going to end right here, the adventure, because the player forgot or didn't know how to create normal items. Well, that's okay, the map seems really good, but I wasn't able to play because this. Okay guys, don't worry, let's do this. We are going to start the minicamp right now because I have a lot of things to tell you and I prefer to use the time just for be a little bit better with the map. Okay, I'm not going to qualify this right now, I'm going to qualify it later when I got more information and when I will be able to finish the map. For now guys, how are you? Let me switch to full screen. I see that there is not too much people today on the chat. It's normal. Most of the people check this actually this class later. But for those of you that are already here, welcome to the class. We are going to start today. And I see that a lot of you were having some problems. A lot of you were reporting me that there are some errors in the game, okay? So let's check that. Let's start by that. Let's take the 15 minutes that we usually take more for the class for solving these problems, okay? Sorry. So let's move to the map here, and we are going to start with the problem that Zane reports me. Yeah, for sure. So let's see how it works. Let me open my Discord here also. All right. Where is the conversation with you? Just a second. And all right, we got this error right here. It's telling us in the debug option that the line 460, it has a bad argument number 2. Random and interval is empty, okay? So let's see what happened. Let me start the game. All right. And let's see what is happening on there. So we are going to open the codes. We are going to open this script right here. And on here, we are going just to scroll down to that line, okay? So let me help you out, or let me teach you how you can read some basic errors on the game, okay? So on the error that Zane has, he got this message that says on here, oh, let me see if I can increase the size. Yes, I can increase the size. It says switch minigame 460. Bad argument on random interval, okay? So first we need to check this. This is actually the script, the first line, the thing that is in between the square brackets is the script that is getting the error, okay? So we need to move to that script, okay? In that script, we have the line 460. So that means that we need to check for that line here. Here we are going to just scroll down until 460. Okay. And it's telling us that the problem here is that we get an error right here. 46, where it was. Okay, I completely lose. It's right here. All right, it's telling us that there should be an error here. Let me see what could be the problem here. All right, the old value, the list, the number 1. Let me ask you something in the chat, Zenith. The name that you got here, that will be switch minigame. Switch minigame for you is it's the actual script. So with that, I will know for sure what could be the problem. Probably we place a wrong number here. Probably it's because you are going to have only one number. Let me try to test that. Just a second here. Come on, MiniWord, work. The action. All right, it seems that will be the action. So let me see if this is the problem. If this is the problem, you don't have to worry, because after adding some extra games, probably you will be able to play with. There won't be a problem for now. But let me see if this is the problem. We are going to reduce the time for playing a little bit, so we will be able to test this faster, okay? Don't worry if you are not understanding right now, we are just trying to resolve this. Okay, we are just, hello Davon, how are you? We are just taking some time to try to resolve some basic issues. On here we got once more 40 seconds. I think that it doesn't activate it. Yeah, for what happened here, why this happens, okay? All right, let's try once more. Just a second, guys, and let's see what happened. Okay, that's normal. We have the 40 seconds. After this time happens, of course, you don't have this yet, but after that time, we will be able to play. It's supposed to. But if I get the same error, oh, I forgot something here. I won't be able to see what is going on if I don't activate this. And let me try this, okay? We are going to try again. For the context, or for those that are just coming, what happened is that Zenith report me, or Zenith or Zane in Discord, or the Grand Adventurer into the game, report me this error that when he tried to use the script, it was getting, or he was getting this error, so we are going to try to resolve it very quickly before the class starts. Don't worry, in a little bit we are going to start completely. If we are not able to resolve it yet, we are going to I'm going to personally do it with Zane, but let's check right now. Okay, it's getting ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay, let me see. Probably this is going to have the same error. And yes, it's the same error. We got a lot of errors. Don't worry for that. It seems that the problem, and just for you to don't worry about it, is that we probably are not going to have more games right now, because we only have one game, and the game number 0. Remember, the game number 0 is the first one that we need to register, and is the actual elimination room, okay? So our game is going to auto-detect that. It's going to send us to the room number 0, or to the game number 0, every some like 5 rounds, okay? But apart from that, as we don't have any other game, the game is probably going to register an error. As soon as we add more maps, this is going to be resolved. As you see, now it's working full. The only thing that we need to do is to activate more rooms, okay? So don't worry for that. That is something that could happen with it. Yeah, it's okay. So don't worry for that, saying it's okay. As soon as we add more maps, as soon as we add more games, this is going to be resolved. So don't worry for that. Let me do a quick check here. Of course, I know that this is resolved, but I want to be sure that, yes, everything has been resolved. So don't worry for that. Now let's start the class. And today you are going to have that resolved, okay? So guys, welcome to the class number 4 officially. I have to move myself because I'm kind of at this side. All right, so guys, welcome to the class number 4. Today, we are going to check that later also. Don't worry, we are going to fix everything. First, we are going to start with this. Welcome to the class. I'm going to be very quick on this because I know for sure most of you. Okay, I was forgetting what I was saying. Okay, yeah, I know that most of you already know all these parts, so I'm going to be very quickly because I want to focus in the class. I don't want to tire with these things. Guys, very important. You know already what is the minicamp and what is this minicamp about. Very important, you know also the prices, and most important, if you don't know this, please take a screenshot about the times, okay? Very important, guys, before the 7th of December, that means the 6th, sorry, one day before, it's going to be the max amount of date or max date or the deadline for you to submit your map, okay? So very important, take those different like timings in account. Take a screenshot. I always tell you this because it's going to be very important. Okay, once more, we have some rewards for the classes, and on the description of any of my videos you will find the different tools that we have. We have a lot of options here that probably you haven't explored yet. There is a folder with a lot of icons ID. There is also the different tools that you can use to edit on cell phones and also in computers. And also there is a list, an ID for my scripts and for the scripts that MiniWare has, okay? All right, welcome, new start. Welcome to the class. Now, very important and most important, well, for right now, this is not that important, but try to subscribe if you are not. I see that a lot of you were checking the channel but are not subscribed, and try to activate the warnings, okay? Now, let's start with the objectives. Today, we are going to start to create our first games. You're going to see that all the work we made for the previous classes are going to start taking results. You are going to see that adding the games to the system is very easy now that we have already most of our system finished, okay? First, we are going to learn how to do one of the main rooms of the game, and it's the elimination room. How the elimination room works. Remember that in this kind of game, just for you to increase the sales and also for the players to have like another way to play, every 5 rounds you will be teleported to your main room, the room where you have your stores, the room when you have the players and all the other things. On there, the player with less stars is going to be eliminated, is going to be deleted, or is going to be killed. And apart from that player, also we are going to increase the difficulties for the different or the level for the different mini games by increasing the stars, okay? Also, your players are going to have enough time to buy some extra things just to get your items in your store, okay? And also to have a rest. So that's what we are going to learn first. Then we are going to learn the second mini game that will be for real the first one, apart from the elimination room, another game and another game. This was created according to the pool, to the research I sent you by links on the previous days. On that, we define which will be the best games that you want to learn. Now, very important, guys, this is the class number 4. For the next class, that is the class number 5, we are going to learn to create more minigames, okay? In total, I'm going to teach you how to create 12 minigames. Apart from that, you are going to create your own minigames, so at least your map is going to have 12 minigames. Now, This was the result of for the pool. As you see, most of the maps are going to cut the same result in the rotation ship, but the one that gets more rotation ship was Meteor Rush, is the one where you have to bait the meteors. Following on that, we got like different. We got Ice Brawl, the bridge, green light, blue light, Bizil Barrage, and also we got asteroids. Okay. And apart from that, moving next, we got this one that is Pool Frenzy. And finally, we got the boxes and we got a lot of other games, okay? So we are going to start with those today. We are going to learn Meteor Rush, Ice Brawl, and the Bridge first. So we are going to have a total amount of 3 games plus the Elimination Room today. So let's start with the Elimination Room. On here, a lot of the errors that you have are going to be resolved. If we take a look over our game plan, all the yellow parts are the parts that we already resolved. If you see the screen, most of the things are already resolved. We only left a couple of things. First is to create, sorry, I moved the screen by mistake. Okay, so are going to be the mini games that are going to be over all the things that we already pulled. And also very important, we are going to continuously work on this. That is your extra dynamics library, the one that you create on triggers. But for now, we are going to focus on this one, okay? So, how it works in theory and in practice for your games, okay? So, how is composed a game? Once we got all the previous things already set up, we can start creating our games. And this is very important. Remember that yesterday I asked you to create different folders. This is how it's going to work, okay? First, we are going to have in our minigame folder the trigger of your game, okay? That's going to be just the trigger, and you can put any name on here. As an example, as we are going to create elimination room, imagine that this is the trigger elimination room, okay? And the second trigger, it's going to be inside the minigame loop, okay? That depends of your minigame, the minigame that you are playing with. Some minigames are going to have more than one trigger, but most of the times we are going to focus on just 2 triggers, the normal and the loop one, okay? So remember, this is going to be the trigger, your loop. What it's going to do, each one, okay? And very important, this is how our games are going to detect. So, this is going to be executed when your minigame is going to start. And what it's going to do is to send the info to the players. It's going to tell the players, hey, you have to do this on this minigame. It's going to set up the rules with this. I mean, that as an example, you can set up the players to have a specific amount of speed, that to have a specific amount of jumping, to have the restriction to attack other players, or to allow the players to pick up items and use the items, okay? Apart from that, we are going to spawn the initial objects. As an example, if we are in the map of the chickens, when we are going to use this one to spawn the chickens, the first chickens in the game. Then is going to, very important, turn on your game loop, okay? And this is a little bit better, more accurate. So that means that is going to activate the second trigger that we are going to use for your game. Why? Because remember, for this game, we are going to be a little bit more efficient, and we have a system that turns off everything that we are not using. So the game is going to reduce the lag a lot, okay? And finally, we are going to also turn on the dynamics that we don't need for this specific minigame, and turn on the ones that we need for this minigame, okay? That's only being executed one time at the beginning of the game, and that's what or when our game is going to start. So the second one is a loop. A loop is something that repeats over and over, and what it's going to do is to handle the rules for most of our maps, okay? Mini games. So how it works? This can be on or off, this specific trigger, and it's going to be turned on or turned off by the main or the first trigger that we create, that is the normal minigame trigger. How it's going to work, we are going to have a timer. It's a global timer that is called minigame. Remember that you have to have the same number, the same name, like exactly like I have it here. for this timer, if you put a different name on it, you need to rename it, okay? And when the timer is just about to expire, that means more than one, the timer has more than 1 second left, and it has less than 38 seconds. That means that the players are going to have 3 seconds, like, or okay, on here is a little bit erratic. Here is 37. The players always, when the game starts, are going to have 3 seconds in which they are going to be freezed, and it's like just ready for the map. Okay, it's like counting 3, 2, 1, and start. So after those 37 seconds, the game is going to start with this. Very important, the second condition is that the game ID that we are going to use globally is going to have the same ID of your game, okay? And very important, I'm going to clarify here, MiniGame ID, okay? It's going to be the same ID of your game. And what it's going to do, that depends of each game, but it's going to control your minigame, okay? That's how it works. That's like the normal map. Let me put it here so you will be able to see a little bit better. Now we are going to start creating this for the first script, okay? For the first game. And once more, we are going to start with the elimination room. So what we are going to do, guys, just stay on the elimination room that you have, the main room where the players start, and when the players are going to have the swords and all the other things. And when you are in there, what you are going to do is just open here the developer tools, and you are going to move to triggers, okay? So remember, yesterday I teach you how to create this trigger that is going to be called the register trigger, right? So in the register trigger, you are going to move to the first action, the action that is being called map register, okay? This is the custom script. And the first thing that we are going to add, of course, you are going to see a lot of things here. Let me do this so you will be able to have a clear idea. Is that we are going to put the next information in the first map, okay? Probably yesterday we got a different information, okay? Because we weren't going deeper on this, but this is the only game that it needs to have the same setup that I have here. So remember, you are going to just use the same line that you can copy. Remember that if you don't have this, information, you just can go here to your scripts, then you can go to minigame core, and you can find this information, the one that I just show you on here. So you just go to the top and you scroll down, and you are going to see a section that says API, and you are going to see here something that says register an arena, and you are going to copy this, okay? And that's it. If you don't have it, probably you already have it because yesterday I already explained how it works. But what you have to do is just to move here and be sure that you are going to have that one, okay? Once more, on here, in between the parentheses, I have the information that you have to put. So minigame ID for the elimination room is going to be 0. Minigame name, it's going to be here, elimination. And very important, guys, check this. This for the name is required. So you need to put the 2 notation marks. On here, you need to put your coordinates. Remember, these are going to be the coordinates that you have for your map. And for now, spawn method is how your players are going to appear in that room. As this is the waiting room, the like normal room, just put a number one. Let me put it right here. Number 1 in spawn method is equals to random point in your map. That means that the players are going to spawn in any part of your map, okay? So we are going to put just a 1, and in count method, as this is the waiting room, guys, don't put any number here, just put a 0, and the system is not going to spawn any coin, okay? So that's how it's going to work. Remember, in here you have to put your coordinates, that they are the same coordinates I have here, that depends of your minigame. And that's it, right? So we already got like the register for our arena. Now that we got this, we are going to move to this folder, guys, okay? So remember, we already tell the system where is our arena and what are going to be the dimensions and the name and all the information for the arena. Now we need to create the actual elimination room. So what you are going to do, you are going to access to the folder MiniGames. You are going to create a new trigger. And the name of the trigger, that's going to be very important, guys. The name of the trigger on here is going to be the next one. You put a number, you put the number 0 on here. Hi, how are you, Alpha? Welcome to the class. So guys, this is going to be the number. Number 0 means it's going to be the first room. I put a dash on it and then the name of the room. So this one is going to be the elimination room. And for this one, just put the same name because it's a main system. And how it's going to work, you only need to put the next thing. If you are you use the same information that I have, you only will need to copy this and paste it a lot of times to make it work. So what you are going to do is just add here a new action, okay? And the action is going to be here. That is going to be game designated timer change. Remember this one, not this one not. You have to place this one, very important. And when you use that one, you are going to open here. And remember that we already created yesterday this specific timer where we are going to use that one, that is next minigame, okay? When next minigame changes, the conditions are going to be the first one to check the time in the minute time, okay? So the timer needs to be 0. That means that when the timers become 0, we are going to start the game. No, because if you don't put this, your game is going to execute that over and over, and we don't want that. So first, you are going to go to math, numerical comparison here, okay? And when you add that, you are going to have on here a blank screen. You are going to access here or expand that part. You are going to just select the next options and you are going to select timer time, okay? When you select that, you are going to have this green color and this arrow. To expand that arrow, and on here you need to choose which timer is the one that we are going to check the time for. So for this one is going to be next minigame. In the center, it needs to be equals to, very important, guys. On here in options, you have a lot of options, but you are going to select equals to, and the number 0, that means when the timer is got to number 0. And now the second part is to be sure that the minigame, this part is going to be the same that you got for your game when you register it, okay? And how you are going to do that? Just add here a math numerical comparison, okay? And on here, you are going to create a new variable. Well, you are not going to, well, it's okay. You are going to select a new variable, and the variable is a value variable, and it's going to be called minigame, okay? Very important, guys, on here, and this is very important, the letters and the text needs to be the same. Check the M is in uppercase and the G is in uppercase, and all the other things are in lowercase with no spaces. Equals to 0. Okay, this number from here needs to be the same number that you just put here in the map register right here, okay? So very important, be sure that this number, that is the ID, it's going to this to be the same. Oh, I didn't know that. Very important. Didn't know that information, and that's something that will help me out to do it better. You're telling me that it's just in tools. Oh, very important. Didn't know that, Zenit. Thank you so much. Now I will do lesson 4 to create a game. But thank you. So just do what Zenit told you instead. But well, very important. Once more, the number here, it needs to be the ID, okay? So now when you have this resolved, we can add the actions, okay? So first action that you are going to add is right here. You are going to go to your normal system. We are going to add a script and we are going to execute a script, okay? Right now I have it already on here, but you are going to just add it manually here. Once more, on here you are going to change the rules, and here is going to be change permissions, okay? And let me explain how it works. What you need to do is you need to copy this from the triggers section, okay? Remember guys, this is going to be the link where you can check this. On here you have all information, as always, and you are going to select the MiniGames folder. Let me delete myself from the background so you will be able to see better, all right? And on here you have all the different systems. Once more, we have all the different things on here, and you are going to scroll down and you are going to have the permissions here. And I'm going to teach you how to use this, okay? Just be sure that you copy and paste, and be sure that this is in the original language, and you are going to paste it into your trigger, okay? So let me explain what it does. This will allow you to change the permissions for the player. So for the next game, the player can jump. The normal value, that means the normal jump, is going to be around 40. The normal speed is going to be 10. And on here you have true or false, okay? So can place a block is self-explanatory, is if you are going to allow the players to put blocks, okay? Next to it, I put you the different options that you can have for this, okay? You can be true or it can be false, okay? So as an example, if you don't want the players to move in your minigame, just choose this, false. And with that, your players are not going to be able to move. If you want the players to be able to attack each other, just change this to to true. And with that, the players will be able to attack. You don't have to do anything else. You only have to change that values, okay? And that's very important, guys. You are going to have different permissions for each minigame, okay? Of course, I already have created mine on here. So we are going to delete those. And we are going to check the ones that I got already here. So for this specific one, okay, we are going to put the name once more. Here, change permissions. And can jump, it's going to be for 50. Can speed is going to be normal speed. Normal speed is 10. That means 100% of the speed. If you change this as an example for 80, you are going to have like different speeds on there, okay? Now, can camera means if you are going to move the camera to first, second, or third person. So in this game, you need to have a back camera for this mini game. You can use the number 3. If you want the first person, the normal camera, just put a 0 on it. As you see, the options are right next. I think this one is not here on the permissions that I put you in the description. Yeah, this one is not. So let me correct that just a second here. This is going to be very important, so you are going to avoid that mistake. All right, so now let me save it here, and that's it. All right, can move is if the player can move. These are going to be self-explanatory. Can use blocks, can be killed, can attack, can pick up items, can drop items, okay? On this one, all the conditions, as you see, needs to be the same. As an example, the only thing that is false here, or let me see, the things that are true here are going to be the player can move, of course, because it's going to be the elimination room. Do we want the players to move? The player can use items, yes, because probably in your store the players are going to be able to buy some things. Can be killed, also it needs to be true, and this is very important, guys, because if we are in the elimination room and we don't set up this, player probably it's going to be immortal, so if we try to eliminate it, he won't be able to be killed. So very important for the elimination room, put a true on it. Can pick items needs to be true because we want the player to be able to pick up the items from the stores or whatever. And can drop items, I put it on true. This is optional. You can put also a false on it and just save it. With that, we are telling the game like, hey, this is going to be the like there are different rules that you are going to have for your map, okay? On here also you can place a specific message. As an example, I put those decorations. These are going to be normal text, but I'm going to be the decorations, so the player will be able to see the main message inside those brackets. And this main message is like the rules that the player are going to have. To put those, just after we set up the change permissions, just add a new action. The action is going to be on here on player group. Remember, not player, just player group. And you are going to select the one that says display chat info for player group, okay? Once you do that, you can put the text that you want to put, okay? This is going to be the instructions for your map. That is going to be very important. In my case, in this room, the player with less stars is going to be eliminated, okay? So, why do we put this, okay? Let me show you the effect on the chat. Just a second, if this loads. Okay. Check this. This is the message. As you see right here, you are going to have like the text that decorates all the games. So as you see on here, it's just a decoration, okay? And the normal text. Whatever you want to put on there, be sure that the players are going to see it. So if you want to do a decoration, do it. If you don't want it, it's okay, okay? So now that you have the text that the players are going to have, for this room only, we are going to add a wait, okay? How do you add a wait? You go here, you just scroll down, put timer, and waiting time, okay? On here, you are going to put to wait 5 seconds. Remember, on here you can change the time. Okay, and after 5 seconds, we are going just to copy on here the text that we created before, and we are going to paste it once more on the elimination room. Okay, and what we are going to do is just to show to all the players a concatenation. Okay, so how do you do that? And very important on this, I forgot to teach you this. When you, in the previous one, when you want to send a message to all the players, just go ahead to player group and select all the players. With that, it's going to work. You don't have to do that much. On that one, on here is going to have the same. It's going to be for all players, but this one is going to change. On here, you can go to content library. You select string concatenation, guys. And in a string concatenation, you are going to have like this interface. It will allow you to create two strings and match it together. So the first one that we are going to do is to get the player name of the player that is going to die. And very important, the system is going to do this automatically. You don't have to worry for that. What you have to do is just to put the right information. So in the first screen here, we are going to select function library, player, and player name, okay? And in player name is going to allow us to choose which player. Very important, guys, you have to create a variable, and the variable has to have the exact name I got in the screen. So it needs to be, once more, on here, eliminated player, okay? Check the spelling for this. It needs to be exactly the same because this is something that the system detects. Once more, you can change that later if you put a different name, but it needs to be eliminated player, okay? It needs to be like this, okay? So once you select eliminated player here, what you are going to do is put an and in on here. You are going to tell the game something like, I put it here, is the player with less stars. That means that is the player that is having the worst score, eliminating player, okay? And be sure that you translate this to the different languages. So all the different languages are going to know. Very important, guys, once more, if there is a rule in your game, always explain that rule to the other players, okay? That's it for now. Remember, once more, guys, the variable, it's going to be eliminated player. Once more, if you got a wrong name, just hit edit and change the name here, but it needs to be the same I got in my screen. Copy and paste it like it this, okay? Now, what we are going to do is just to wait another seconds of the time that you want it. So once more, you just add here another variable, sorry, another timer that is going to be waiting time, and we are going to wait 2 seconds, okay? Once more, 2 seconds, and then what we are going to do, or what I did, is to create an effect and a sound into the player. So remember, the player that is going to be eliminated is going to be the variable that you just created, okay? The system is going to do that automatically. You don't have to worry for that. So the system will know always who is going to be the less, or the player that has less score. So what you are going to do is just add an effect, okay? To add an effect, just go here, select special effect, and play a special effect. Sorry, this not is this one, okay? This one is the correct to a player, very important, okay? And when you select a player, you are going to choose the effect that you want. In my case, I use like the effect 37. Let me scroll down right here. That is this one to some seconds before the player got killed, let the other players know which one is the player that is going to be killed. And once more, you are going to select in variables, eliminated player. And the size is whatever you want to choose. Welcome, Kenzie. Welcome to the class. Now, you are going to also play the sound if you want it. Of course, that depends on your map. In my map, I do it like this. You can change the order. But very important, at the end, kill the player, okay? So if you want to keep it like I have it, I put apply turn effects on player and the effect for that player, and let me put it just a second here. It's going to be this one, okay? Okay, once more, you need to select eliminated player here. Once more, it's in here on variables. I played the skill 31, and you can keep it everything like it is. On here, it needs to be false. That's the only thing, okay? Once more, and once we got this, I pause the game another 4 seconds. You use this. You go to timer, and you put waiting time. And once you get to waiting time, another 4 seconds right here, check. You are going to create another sound or effect, whatever you want it, okay? But what I did at the end, those are just going to be effects. Well, the first one is another effect, just like another sound effect. The one that says kill, you just add that sound on there, just by the same way you add the last sound. I also make the player fly, but this is not noticeable in the game, so don't use that. And the most important, at the end of your elimination room, just put here, once that's a player, and put defeat player, okay? That's going to kill the player. And the player that you are going to kill is eliminated player, okay? Okay, this is going to be all for the elimination room. Remember I told you that we are going to use also this. Well, this is the only game that I create that doesn't have a loop, okay? Because it's just elimination room, we don't have to have any specific loop for that one. With this, we already have our elimination room created. So right now, the players will be able to get on there every 5 rounds, okay? Now that we end this specific game, the elimination room, I'm going to give you the first code, okay? This is going to be for 15 mini-beans. I just put it in the chat, so check your chat right now. And give me a second, let me be sure that you can claim it, because I've seen, and a lot of you were complaining about this, that some of the codes that I was providing you are not able to be claimed. So if this happens, I will be able to ask the team to just to know what happened with it, because it's not fair. So let me hit, I activated the same code that I put it. Okay, it's telling me that the code I entered is incorrect. That's probably we have a space at the end. Let's try to copy it again. but delete the last one, space. Okay, 2BUC4. Okay, let's try to activate it again. All right, it seems that that code is not working. Let me check here if I can provide you another one, because that's, for me, it's not okay that you are not going to be able to receive the codes as it's supposed to be. Okay, another incorrect code, guys. Huh. I will have to talk with that. Please be ready in the Discord channel. I will ask for the code once more, and I'm going to send that code because it seems it's not working. So that's not fine for me, because, you know, it's if they give me a code, it's supposed to be working. Sorry for that, guys. Let's continue with the map, okay? So, guys, now we have our first elimination rule. All the other games are going to follow the same rule. First, we are going to create the minigame on the trigger, and then we are going to learn the minigame loop. So we are going to start with one of the easiest one to make, and is the meteor room, okay? So what you have to do, once more, you have to create a room. If this is going to be the meteor room, guys, and very important, we are going to switch that. We are going to learn meteor rush. If you are going to do the meteor rush, what you have to do is to create a room. It doesn't matter the design. The only thing that is important is don't put too much obstacles around the map. Be sure that the playable area is completely free, so the players will be able to move freely. The only obstacles that I place is like the altitude, so players can be stuck here for a second. Of course, once more, it doesn't matter if you put more blocks in the walls. Well, so you can have like 1 or 3 or like different altitudes in your decoration. The important thing for this minimap is that everything inside the playable area, the 24 by 24, it's completely playable, okay? Now, what you are going to do? Well, as always, you are going to seek for the center of your map. You are going to take note of the coordinates. And once more, this is going to be our first game. Okay, once more, we got X, we got Y, and we got Z, guys, okay? So, on here, let me put right here. On this side, you have the coordinates for your game, for your first minigame. -25 is going to be the first one. 16, it's going to be the altitude, is going to be the second parameter here. That is going to be Y. Remember, this is for all the maps in MiniWorld. And the last one, that is going to be the C value, is going to be 16. Remember, if you have a negative number right here, like I have, you have to put it, okay? So minus needs to be minus here. Once you have that information, what you need to do is just go right here. Remember, the process is going to be always the same. So what you always need to do is just move to the main system folder. And in the main system folder, you are going to move to register, okay? In register, you are going to open this one that says map script, right? Map register. And we are going to just copy and paste this, okay? All right, so now we are going to change the information. Remember the ID that is going to feed the first data, it's going to always have an extra number, okay? So the elimination room is the room number 0. The map that we are going to create is the first minigame, so just put the name and the number, okay? The name of the map is going to be Meteor Rush, okay? The coordinates here, that is X, Y, Z. Remember that this one is the same that we got here. So the coordinates are going to be the next value. Remember the numbers that we just take? We are going to put it on here. So the first one is -25. The second one is going to be 1. And the third one is going to be 16. Something that I always do, guys, is very important. I always give the number on here plus 1. It's like just adding to the altitude one number, but it's not necessary. It's just to create a cool effect, but you don't need that. You can also use 1 on here if you want it. If you see if that the player spawns like literally in the ground, just put a number extra on there, okay? And the spawn method, okay? So very important, guys. And for this, let me open once more the presentation about Spanish. I think it was, yeah. That has the chart. Just a second. Okay, it's not loading. Oh, yeah. It's loading right now. Okay, so this is how the spawn methods works, okay? So guys, remember this. And let me show you how you can read this. On here, that is going to be the number. Remember, this is going to be this. It's telling us that what will be the spawn method. So I put it an example here. The green areas is where the players are going to be teleported. Okay, so let me show you with a quick shape here. Imagine that this is going to be a player. Okay, with the method number 1, the player, or in all the examples, the player can spawn in the green area. So that means if you put a number 1, the players can spawn in any area around all the map except the walls, okay? So as an example, the first player can be teleported here, the second can be teleported here, the third one can be teleported here. It doesn't matter, okay? If you put in spawn method, once more, right here, if you put the number 2, what it's going to happen is that the player can spawn in the borders of your room. You have to keep 3 blocks, but it's going to spawn in any border of the map, okay? So that means first player is going to be teleported here, second is going to be probably teleported here, and third one is going to be teleported here, okay? That's going to be for the second. And if you put the number 3, that means that the player, it's going to be teleported around the center, only around the center. So the first one could be here, the second could be here, and the third one could be right here, okay? So that's how it works for the spawn methods. So just put the number that you wanted. In our case, as this is meteor room, the best thing will be to spawn the players around the borders. So if you spawn the players around the boulders, we are going to choose the number 2 here, okay? So that means that for our game, the players are going to spawn around the borders while the game starts. Probably you didn't notice that, but it's a way to spread the players around. Now, coin method, that is the last number after the comma. It's going to be almost the same, but it's going to be for the coins. So, once more in the example, imagine that, okay, for these coins, no, sorry, for the stars. Sometimes I forgot that. What happened is that previously, when I start designing this map, at the beginning, the stars were like coins, but I realized that the stars are going to be easier for the players to understand. So, once more, if you put on here a number 1, okay, a number 0, it means that no stars at all are going to be spawned. That means no stars, okay? If you put the number 0. But if you put the number 1 here, it means exactly the same that I got right here. So number 1 means that the stars can be in any part of the map. Number 2 means that the star, it's going to appear around the corners. And number 3, it means that it's only going to appear around the center. So in this specific game, we want the star to spawn in any part of the map because we want the players to walk around all the map. And for doing this, the only thing that you need to do once more is to change the numbers here. So as we want everything to spawn around any part, just put a number 1. And on here you can put, of course, the name of your map. In my case, I just put 2 lines. Remember, in triggers and scripts, guys, 2 dashes means there is a comment. It's not going to execute that code. It's just for you to put comments. This is going to be meteor. Okay. And that's it. We already got the map registration for your game. Now we need to move here and we need to create the different folders. Okay? So bye, Kenzie. Have a good day. First, we are going to go just to minigame. We are going to add a new trigger, sorry, not a trigger set, just a normal trigger. And we are going to have this, rename it as meteor number 1. Guys, that is going to be on here, the number 1, and meteor room, okay? And meteor room, it's going to be just a normal name for your map, okay? Now, guys, we can do that if you want to do it manually, or what you can do is just to copy and paste and rename it, okay? With that, you are going to have most of the conditions already on the game, okay? So if you do the copy and paste of the condition, the action is going to be the same. The condition is going to be the same except by this part, okay? On this part, you have a 0 in here. You need to change it to the number 1, okay? Because this, once more, needs to match with the number that you put in the map register right here. So if we put a number 1 on here, on there, you also need a number 1, okay? Now, for the, as you see, you are going to delete almost everything else. Just take all of these things and delete it. You are just going to keep this part, okay? The first that are going to be the permissions and the text, okay? So once you delete everything else, what you are going to do is just to go here to the conditions once more. This is going to be the permissions. And once more, you are going to set up the permissions. On here, put how much jump the players are going to have. Once more, 50 is the normal value. Right here, put the number of speed. In my case, I put it 8. It's a little bit less than the most speed that you have in most of the times on MiniWorld. Player can move, it's true. On here, put everything on false, but can use items is going to be true. And let me explain why. Because in my game, as you can get some items in the stores, you can use it during the game. So I always put can use items as true, except a minigame where, as an example, you cannot use other objects. Can attack false, we don't want the players to hit each other. Can be attacked, needs to be true, so the player can receive damage. Can be kills also needs to be true. In all the games, most of the games, you are going to be put can be killed as true, okay? The other things, just put it in false. As you see, to set up the rules is going to be very easy here. You don't have to do a lot of things, just change the letters. And here, once more, just edit and put the conditions or the rules for your minigame, okay? And you're going to keep it like this. So right now you are going to have something like this, just 3 or 2 different scripts, triggers. What we are going to do is just to move to our game start loop, and we are going to create a new trigger, okay? So just go here and create a new trigger. When you create a trigger, you are going to put the same name of the other, but at the end, after one meteor room, you are going to put loop on it, okay? Why loop? Because remember that the loop is going to be different. Once more, moving back to the presentation, to this presentation, we got 2 different triggers. The triggers that this is the startup, that is the one that we made for elimination room, and the last one, and the loop that is the one that we are going to do, which actually is a real game. Okay, so once you got it, you are going to put the next conditions. First one, once more, you are going to add this, that is going to be to check the timer, but this is very important, we are going to check a different timer. So, for this, just select add game logic, designated time changers or timer. On here, we are going to select minigame, okay? Very important, on this one, it's minigame, the one that is going to change, okay? On here, now we are going to add some conditions. The first one is that the minigames needs to be equals to 2. for to 1. Okay, for this you can just go ahead to the previous and you just can copy and paste it right here. Okay, just copy and paste it. For the second condition is just going to be the same. So what you can do is just go ahead once more to the previous map that the trigger that we create, just copy the first condition, just hit on copy and paste it on this specific mini game room. Okay, but you will have to edit it. On here you are going to have different information. Be sure to access and you select mini game on here. And very important, on the center you need to choose the options to be greater than, okay? And the number 1, okay? That means that this is going to be executed just before the game ends. No, don't put a 0 here because it's not going to work. Okay, otherwise you can use the method that saying just teach me, that is just go in here, select designated time and select the time that left. Okay, once more, it's optional for you, but you can do it in the both ways. Okay, and very important, guys, here is a condition that is going to be very important, and is that this is not going to start spawning immediately, because if you put immediately, probably the players are going to be completely freezed because the game has just changed it, and before we count 1, 2, 3, the meteor is going to crush the players and it's going to drop the players out. For avoid this, we are going to add a new condition. So just copy and paste the second condition. And very important, with timer time minigame, on here we are going to add the option less than, and on here we are going to select a variable that we already created. Remember, we got like 2 different variables, time per minigame and timer minigame start. Okay, sorry, yeah. Okay, timer minigame start is going to count the real time when the game already counts 1, 2, 3, go. So we are going to use that one, okay? So with this, we got like the 3 conditions. First, that is going to just work just before the minigame change. After the minigame change, there is going to stop completely. And the second one that is going to start after the count for be ready is completely done. And that's how most of the minigames are going to have the conditions. Now, for creating the meteors, we are going to add just a new area, okay? Remember, with this tool, actually, remember in here you have the tool mode. You are going to just hit it on there, and you have this square. You are going to create an area, okay? For creating the area, just select the first point, and then you are going to move everything to the last point, okay? Be sure that your area is over the map where the players cannot reach it, and it covers all the area of your map, like some blocks it up, okay? Here is where the meteors are going to be created, okay? All right, so when you have this area, you are going to rename it. To rename it, just click on here, and you are going to rename it as meteor, okay? Very important, always rename your areas. And once you have that, the only thing that we need to do is just to add here a new trigger. It's going to be on here items. It's going to be created projectile, okay? And just let me be sure. Yes, it's going to be create projectile, okay? And when you create a projectile, you need to select which projectile you are going to have. In my case, the projectile is just a normal projectile that explodes in the floor. I'm going to teach you how to do that, okay? Very quickly. So you go here, you are going to go to props, you are going to hit add, you are going to add a new one, you are going to select create, okay? Once you create, you are going to have a new interface. So just put the name of the meteor, just select any model that you want. In my case, I select a black ball. It's the one that I used for the dark hole in the previous game. And the setup is going to be projectile attack. It's going to be low. You have to switch to attack type. When you select explosion here, this is not going to be damage. This is going to be the radius of the explosion. Gravity, I give some gravity, so the meteor is not going to fall like directly, like a line. It's going to do like a curve on it. The initial speed is 90, so the players are going to be able to see it. If you put too much speed on here, they are not going to notice what is working. The hit target is going to be creatures and block, and everything else is completely off, okay? Skills is also off. Something that I add is just an effect. To add an effect, when you add and save the projectile that you just created here, just move to partial trigger, add a new trigger that's going to be inside the mouth once more, and you are going to add a new one. The action is when the projectile is created, and what we are going to do is just go here, create a special effect, create a special effect in projectile, or play a special effect in projectile, and the one I use is smoke 17. So that's going to give like the trail for the smoke, and the size is 15 and for the projectile in the event, okay? Once you have created that, just restart your map. That is very important, otherwise you won't be able to see the projectile in your game. And once you do that, just move back to the trigger, and we are going to hit the action that we just created. You are going to select your meteor right here. It's the one that we just created. And very important, here is the trick. What we are going to do is to just create the meteor in any area, in any point in this area, and we are going to shoot it to the same area, but in any other point around the area. So it's going to look like the meteor is having a direction, but we are just using an area to give that, okay? How do you do that? Once more, just go to the first block where it's going to tell you where the projectile is going to be created. On there, you are going to select on here, function library, okay? Random point in area, that means that is going to do all the work for you, and just select the area that you want to do. And for towards, or where it's going to point the projectile, it's going to be plugin library. You are going to select location offset, original location change, and that will allow us to change the location. So as an example, we select X point and we can move the area. We can tell them to move two to the right, 2 blocks to the right, 1 up, and 2 to the front, or whatever direction you want to give it, okay? That's how it works. So what you are going to select in the first block is just the same we select here. So just go here, function, and a random location in area, okay? On here, you are going to choose once more meteor, and on here, we are going to choose the move it directions, okay? So we already got any point in this area, any point on here. So as an example, the meteor is going to spawn here, and the point in direction is going to be here, the random point in the area. But with the trigger that I showed you, we are going to decide to point 20 blocks below that. So that means that the meteor is going to point to the ground, okay? And how did you do that, Jill? Remember I told you just 20 points before or below? Well, if you see, we choose the number. Once more, these are coordinates. This is the X, this is the C, and this is the altitude. If you put minus, it's going to be downwards. If you put a positive number, it's going to be upwards. So on here, I just choose minus 21, minus 20, and that's it. If you want the game to just shoot more than one projectile, just copy and paste in the same screen as much projectiles you wanted. The last step is that you are going to have this like this. What you are going to do is just to click on here to completely turn it off. Remember, our system is going to activate this. And we almost finished our first game, okay? What you have to do next is just go here to the script that we just created before, that is the meteor room. And remember, we only have like the permissions and the text that we are going to send to the players. Well, we are going to just add a new one. We are going to go to triggers, and we are going to change the trigger set status. Sorry, the trigger status, okay? Once you select the trigger status, we are going to select on here the trigger that we just created. Remember, the loop. Okay, so on the loop, we are going to select once more in the folder loops. We are going to select the loop of our game, okay, that is going to be meteor, and we are going to change the status on. So if everything works fine, guys, your meteor is going to be shooted. That means that you are going to be teleported. You are not going to get any error. as you could previously send it. Instead of that, the player is going to be teleported to the room that you choose, and on there the projectiles are going to start shooting after some seconds. As you see, adding the mini games is going to be very easy. And once more, if you got everything right after the moment, after 5 rounds, after playing 5 rounds the same meteor game, you will be teleported right here, okay? And it's going to tell the game that which is the player with less score, but don't worry, if you are in one player, it's not going to kill you. It's going to allow you to keep for the next minigame, okay? Now, very important, guys, we left something, and is that our system left another thing. Right now, your players are not going to die if they get out of the arena, okay? So how we can choose to make that? That will be the next step, guys, okay? And this is going to work for all the triggers. All right, so we are going to go to the usually script sites. Let me put once more the site in the description and the chat. Also, you can find that. And what you have to go is to go to MiniGames, and you are going to select this script. That script name is out of the game, okay? You don't have to do any setup on this. Or, well, of course, if you want to change the text, just change the text part, copy it. You know already how to copy some scripts. You go to here, to your script, and you are going to import this one too, okay? So remember, just delete it, confirm, and save it. If you have everything right copied, it's going to allow you to do it. If you get any error, you have to delete it and try to copy it again, and check if the language is the original one. On here, just put the name out of the arena. Okay, and that's it, guys. For now, we got our first minigame. This minigame is going to be playable completely, okay? Hello, Mr. Noob, how are you? Alright, so we got the first minigame here. And right now you should be able to test. Just in case, to avoid to be a little bit bored, we are going to just take the time to create the second one, okay? This time, as we already know how to create this, it's going to be much easier. So as we are going to add the second one is going to be the one that says Ice Brawl. Basically, what you have to do here is to push the players away from the room, from the arena. So for this, we are going to do the next thing. First, create a scenario that is completely empty and just put an arena around the center, guys, okay? The space that I keep here. Okay, well, to know that you are good, Mr. Noob, and welcome to the class. Alright, so guys, check this. Okay, I already got this, but I forgot that I got it. From the center to the border, I'm using 8 blocks, okay? So the arena is going to be 8 blocks to each one of the sides. Be sure that you put the arena just in the center of the map. And very important, you put just ice. You can put whatever you want it, but put ice so the players are going to move like a little bit slowly. Once you finish created your arena, be sure that all the floor is in ice, and just hit with this tool, the tool that is being called developer or handed editor. Click on the floor, and you are going to hit an attribute edit. The setup for this block is going to be blast resistance -1, hardness -1, slide acceleration, the most important is going to be 1.8. That is going to make your game feels like you can just realize that you can actually finish. On there I already released the key, but if you see the player keeps moving. Okay, and that's it. Just save it and restart your game, okay? Once you have those 2 things created, we can start creating our Ice Brawl, okay? So first thing that you are going to do with your Ice Brawl, guys, is that we need to register the map here, okay? So how you can register that? Once more, just go to the register map in the main system folder, access to the first action that was the previously one that we created. Just copy and paste the last thing that you made. Change the ID here. So if you want 0, 1, the next number is going to be a number 2. Change the name. In my case, it's Icebrow. You can put whatever name you want. And on here, once more, we are going to choose the coordinates. I'm not going to go deeper in there because I already showed you how to create how to check the coordinates for the previous 3 minigames. But remember that you need to keep changing the coordinates here. Once more, this is the spawn method. Let's check our map, okay? So the spawn method on this one, of course, let's check. If we go up in here, you are going to see that we cannot use the spawn method 0, okay? Because if we use the number 1 that is going to be random, the players can spawn in any area of the minigame. And probably the players can spawn around the borders, okay? And that's probably going to make the players to be teleported here. Of course, the system, the minigame core, has a system that allows you to try to check if the floor is a normal floor, but to avoid lag, is going to make it at max in around 20 times. Okay, if after 20 times the map doesn't find a way that actually you can be teleported like in secure way, it's going to teleport you to a random point. So we cannot use that. Instead of that, we are going to use something that teleports us around the center, okay? So as you see, the one that match here is the one that allows us to teleport around the center. So it's going to be the number 3, right? So once more, we go here and we just put the number 3. Now for the coins, we are just going to use the same because we don't want the coins to be spawned outside the arena. So we are going to just do the 3 again. And the players are going to be able to move, okay? But very important, guys, the coins, it doesn't matter too much if the coins spawns outside the arena, okay? Because the game is going to try to put it in the right way, okay? But if after 20 tries, we cannot find a good spot for the start is going to be spawned outside the arena, but it doesn't matter, it's not going to kill the player. So, to give the game an extra look, we are going to use for now the number 1 that is random point inside the arena for this one, okay? But remember, you can choose 3 or 1, whatever you want it. And on here, of course, if you want it, put Ice Meteor. Of course, this is not needed because you have the name right here. So I'm not going to put more information. I'm just going to keep it like it is because you got here the information. So once you tell the game that there is going to be an arena there, just do the same. Copy the one that says Meteor Room, just copy and paste it. Rename it. You are going to put the same name and the same ID, number 2, Icebrow. Okay. As you see, the conditions are going to be the same, but once more, the ID needs to be the same. So this game ID is number 2. So be sure that minigame is equal to number 2. And the actions are going to be almost the same. So first we set up the rules once more. You are going to have the different rules here. Of course, on here you see I put a 0, so players cannot jump on here. Okay, so that's going to allow the players have only movement to the side, so you cannot jump on this one. The players can move and the players are going to be a little bit faster, as we want the players to like sleeping around or sleeper, have the sleeper feature. So we are going to move the speed a little bit, okay? Now, the can move option is going to be true. All the other things are going to be false except can use items and can be killed. Most of the times can be killed is going to be a must because the players need to be able to die. And can use items, true. The only things that change in comparison of most of the games are going to be can jump, okay? Remember, you can check that in the video and you can pause the video. Yeah, there is a lot of Squid Games and Krabby Games right now in MiniWorld. Now on here, once more, you change the text for the descriptions. In here, it's going to be push the players outside the arena, okay? And once more, we need to create also the loop. So this time, before continuing, we are going to move to MiniGames loop. Just copy and paste the major one, just copy and paste, and rename it as a Brawl loop, okay? So we are going to put the actual accurate name, I forgot to do that, Ice Brawl loop, okay? Remember guys, the loop is which actually is going to handle the rules. And we got the same actions, the same conditions, but we got to change the mini game to the number 2, that is the ID for this game. Remember, always be sure that that happens. And we are going to add a new action, okay? So for the Brawl loop, there is something that will happen, and is that as different like mines are going to spawn around the map, okay? So how do we do that? First, we are going to add a conditions. In this condition, this extra condition will be just like the chances to this to happen, okay? So just add a new condition. The condition is going to be a numerical comparison, okay guys? And in numerical comparison, you are going to choose a random number, okay? Function library math random number. Remember guys, this is something that we do for all the triggers, and is the check the chances for something to happen. And random number in between 0 and 100 is less, and you put here the number or the amount of chances. So only 30% of the times this is going to happen. This is going to execute once per second. And the action is to, on here, go to creature, create a creature, okay? And we are going to have this example, okay? For this is going to ask us to create one creature. We are going to select any creature here for now. Select just like the chicken or whatever you put, but be sure that this is going to be the same. So on here, we are going to choose a location. Well, so we need to put function library, random point in the area, okay, in the arena, and we are going to convert a location into a region. So instead of selecting area, we are going just to put a location in the middle of your map, and the game is going to do all the other things. So just select function library, convert a location to a region, and you are going to have another green part, and on here is going to ask us to choose which region, okay? So to put the region is the one that you see in the center. For put any location, any point in the map, just select the number 2 here. You are going to notice that the interface changed for the color. That is going to be yellow. Just when you have the area highlighted, just use the tool or that you have in your hands, and it's going to allow you to create this location. You can rename it from here. You can change the name. In my case, I put mines, okay? And you are going to select that one here, mines, and on here you have the options, okay guys? So it's going to tell us how much for each size you are going to increment or create the area, okay? So it's going to be 6. Remember, to the borders there is 8 blocks. We are going to just put 6. 1, that means that is going to spawn a 1 block above or below. And the 6 is going to be also the sides to the left, to the front backwards, to the left and right, okay? And very important, once you have the same setup, you are going to put here belongs to no team. Now we almost finished this game. What we got to need to create here is to create a creature. So for creating the mine, remember guys, when you hit the mine, you are going to be killed. For now, I'm going to show you how to do a simple one, and later we are going to implement a better one, okay? So just hit add here, guys. Once you add here, you are going to create a new one. When you create a new one, you are going to do the same conditions. I create a model for my mines. Of course, in your game, it could be different. Very important, guys, notice this. Something that you need to make the players clear about is the model, okay? So check my mine is having some effects that looks or make the mine look that is a dangerous object. First one is the red like a flash that you are going to see, that in most of the games when you see something flashing red means that it can be explosive. And as you see, the animation is very simple, but it looks like there is going to explode, that is something unstable, okay? So be sure that the mine that you place has some animations and has those effects that make the player know that it's something dangerous, okay? Just put any name on it. Be sure you don't have to do this, but as a description, I put this warning sign that allow the player know that it's something warning. The attribute is going to be healed. It's going to be a monster. It's going to be healed 15. Attack -1. Movable is going to be on because we want the mines to move a little bit. The speed is going to be 8. That means that it's going to be mobile, as I mentioned before. Movement characteristics, be sure that it can be placeable over the water. In battle, you are going to just choose the group as default. Attack range is going to be 1. View field is going to be 1. In advanced, you are going to delete everything. And for interaction also. But the important thing is here. So you are going to add, once you add the mine, you are going to edit it again, and you are going to have these options. So you are going to add a new script, a new trigger. You are going to put the name of hit, and the conditions are going to be the next ones. Remember, this is going to be usable for all the different games, okay? This mine can be completely useful. So the first condition is when it collides, okay? The first condition is to check if it's a player, okay? How do you check if it's a player? Just check any attribute of the player, because if you don't do it, probably when two mines collide, they are going to explode. And that's not the way that we want it, okay? It's the same trigger that we use for the start. So on here, just select player attribute. You are going to check target players, max HP, it's greater than 1, that's it. Second one, you are going to check if it's a player from the red team, okay? We don't want the mine to attack the observers. So for this, just select determine player team. And in determine player team, be sure it's target players in the event. Yes, is from the red team. And the actions could be whatever you wanted. In my case, you can kill the player directly. In my case, as you see, the player first, it's going to be push it upwards, and it's going to be knock it up or knock it back, knock a bit. Sorry, I get my tongue tied. It's going to be knock it back out from the arena, okay? So what you have to do is to choose here. And first, we are going to remove the creature. So how do you remove the creature? Just hit on creature and remove the creature. Then we are going to give an effect, okay? For now, you don't need to put that, but for just making a little bit cooler, I create a buff that shows like a trail for the player. For creating this is very easy, guys. Just go here, status, and create a new buff. The buff is going to be called Knock Bucket. And actually it doesn't do anything. The only thing is that the effect is going to be Knock Smoke 16. So it's going to create a trail for the player for some seconds, and it's going to have the sound, okay? So if you want to do that, that is optional. You don't actually require to do that. But just to let you know, I put that extra information there, okay? And once you do that, you are going to, if you create effect like I made, like the buff, just go to player, add a buff, obtain a buff that is right here, obtain a effect. The effect that you are going to choose is the one that you select. Very important, is going to be for the target player, and the seconds are going to be just for 1 second. Once after that, what you are going to do is also to create an explosion effect for the player. So how do you do that? Go to effects here, special effects, create a special effects on player, very important, it needs to be the same. The effect is explosion number 2, which actually is the explosion, the minigame explosion model. Alright, then add the sound also for the player. The sound of the player is going to be this one. Sound effect. Once more, tune player's effect sound. And the sound is going to be explosion 2. Where is it? Right here. Once more, it's in target player, always, because this is a different trigger. If you put other thing here, it's going to give you error, so be sure it's going to be target player. The sound is behavior 47, and it's going to be the explosion sound. And finally, how do you push the players to any directions? Just go here, just go to players. This is going to knock back the player, just put here knock move the player towards a direction that's going to literally push the players to whenever you want to push it. And on here you are going to select once more make player in trigger event, move towards. On here you are going to choose function library. You are going to select facing 3-axis coordinates, and you are going to select the object that performs the action. In the first one and in the last one you need to do the same thing, okay? So it's function mat random number. On here you should do the same, and for both you need to choose any number in between -3 to 3. Once more on here it's just the same. In the middle just put 2, a positive number. That means it's going to push the player always up. If you put a negative number here, it's going to push the player downwards. And the speed is number 1. And with this, just save it. You already have your mine created. And go ahead and in your loop, okay? In your eyebrow loop, you are going to change the creature for the creature that you just created, okay? So once more, just go here and select the creature that is going to be the mine, okay? And be sure it's created for no team. And with this, we already got the loop. Once more, once we finish the loop, we go here, we go back to Icebrow. And what we are going to do is just to add here, well, remember that we already got this change from the previous one. We are going to just change it. You are going to select trigger, and you are going to select the folder, and you are going to select the one that we just created. Remember, it's the loop one, okay? Once we have the loop finished on there, well, we have our game ready. For now, I'm going to teach you until this part. Later, we are going to cover some extra features. That means the next class. But for now, you will have 2 games that you can test on, okay, guys? For now, I'm going to do a small, timeout. I need to go to the bathroom very quickly because I need to do something that only I can do. But while I come back, I'm going to leave you this code, okay? So guys, let me see what will be the next code. Let's see if this one works. Okay, so let me see if that one works here. Let's go to activation and let's see. It's supposed to be working. All right, this one works, so I'm going to give you this code. All right, in a little bit, I will come back to you guys, okay? Just one moment. Okay guys, I'm coming back. Truly sorry for that. I almost was dying here because I was just taking the time to show you those things, but I already go to the bathroom, okay? So guys, you should be able to claim the code right here, right now. Now, for this game, okay, So remember, with this, when you do this, all the things that we made, if everything is working fine, and just for you to be able to test and start thinking about the other games, when you start the game, you will be teleported right here to the normal area, and when the game starts, you will be teleported to any of the two games. And this is going to happen over and over, okay? And after 5 rounds, you are going to be teleported right here. You are not going to be killed if you are in one player. You are going to have another round, but if you are in multiplayer, the player with less starts is going to be killed, okay? Very important, guys. And also, if everything is working fine, you will see the different coins spawn around the areas. So, and you will be able to pick up coins, okay? So as you see, we already add 2 minigames very quickly here. And yeah, you already have the tools to test, okay? But now I want to teach you some extra things, okay? Right now we have like the 2 minigames to test, but I will teach you how you can test or some extra features first, and then I'm going to teach you how to test specific things, okay? So what we are going to do is just to put some useful tools that we always do for all the mini games that will help you out to create better and easy games, okay? So probably you already know this if you were assisting to the previous classes, but we are going to create a new trigger in useful triggers. The name is going to be auto delete effects, and what it's going to do every time that you create an effect is going to auto delete it after 1 second. With that, you don't have to delete the effects manually. The system is going to do it automatically, okay? So how do you can do this? Just go here, okay? Rename it as an auto delete effects, and the event is going to be a special effect. When the effect is created at random position, okay? Don't put any condition, just put here another one that is going to be wait. You can find this here. So welcome Basti Soriano. Welcome Pancake Cookie, sorry. You are going to put wait, and the last action is going to be effects. You have to be sure that you are selecting position. So delete special effect on position, and just select in the middle type of a special effect on the event. With this, every time that you create an effect is going to be deleted, okay? Now, another one that we are going to select is something that will allow us to add some items in game, and after each minigame is going to be deleted, okay? So with this, every time that you create a game, the game is going to delete everything. You don't have to worry for deleting those items, and it's going to keep the items that the player will have apart from that. So as an example, for this game, you don't need a specific item. Well, you just add it on there, and only that item is going to be deleted after the game ends, okay? So how do you do that? Create a new trigger, put the name, because it's going to be a part of our library. It's going to be function set items, okay? It doesn't need to have the same name, but it's going to be very important. And you are going to add an action, okay? Just go to player here, okay? To player, and you are going to add an item, okay? Once you have that, you are going to put 1, and very important, you are going to create 3 variables, okay? But the variables needs to have the same name. I put it here. As you see, it's inventory, just the first one in uppercase, and the number right after, okay? So you are going to create inventory 1. Once more, it's case sensitive, so you need to put the same number here, the same name also. The first one is going to be inventory 1, the second one is going to be inventory 2, and the third one is going to be inventory 3, okay? And once you create the 3 variables, just select inventory 1 and select players in trigger event. I know that is orange, but don't worry, we are going to use this later. Now just copy and paste it 2 times more, and it's just the same, but instead of the inventory 1, on the next one you are going to have inventory 2, and in the next one you are going to have inventory 3. Now just delete those 3, don't worry for anything else. As you see, it's a very easy function to create, okay? That will allow us to do some cool things that you are going to see later. Now we are going to add the final one, and the final one is auto bar effects, okay? So in my game, this is disactivated. Be sure that this one is desactivated, so just put it right here. So it's not going to work all the time, only when you call it. And this one, the one that we create needs to be activated. In my map is desactivated, but in yours needs to be activated. And we are going to create a new trigger, okay? The trigger is going to be called auto bar, okay? Once more, we always create this for the minicamps, and what is going to do is just show the bar all the time. Even if the player opens another UI, it's going to show the bar. And this is very important because if you don't put this, whenever a player uses a box, uses a craft table or something, just the timer on the top is going to disappear. This is going to assure that that is not going to disappear. So for this, you are going to add a new action or a new event. Sorry, pardon me. I use pardon. Pardon sounds like very old, yeah. I don't know how to describe it, but it's an old word. And go to word designated timer change. When minigame timer change, remember we already created, and remember this needs to have the same name. If you have a different name for this one, be sure that you put the same I got here. It's also case sensitive. And the action is going to be very easy, guys. You go here, timer, and show timer, okay? That's going to always show the timer. Remember to put all players here. Once more, function, player group, all players. And the title is going to be a string concatenation, okay? And what I put here is like different text for it, okay? So the string concatenation, you can got it right here. String concatenation, and it's going to just copy and paste different strings that we got here. When you got this, on the second, you are going to add another string concatenation, okay? Once more, add here. And you are going to have everything clear, like blank space, and blank space. We are going to use the first one. And in the first one, I put the color, okay? Remember, guys, there is colors for each one, so I put the green color for it, sorry. Then, in the middle, you are going to expand, and here is the most important thing. You are going to choose minigame name. You need to create that variable, guys. And once more, this needs to be case sensitive. So you need to use the same word, same letters, very important, guys, because this is going to be automated changed by the script that we import at the beginning of the class, the core, the minigame core, okay? So be sure it has the same lower and upper cases, minigame name. And finally, in the final one, you can use an space and a symbol or whatever you want to use for time, okay? And that's it. With this, every time that the player moves, the part here is going to be showing up. So let me show you the example very quickly here. Okay, mini word response. What you are going to get is this thing that is going to show us all the information about the map. And even if I move or if I open anything like this, when I close it, it's going to be there. If you don't put that, if you don't use or create that specific auto bar trigger, as an example, if I do this, whenever, okay, come on, mini word. Whenever the players open any UE, you are going to see that this disappears. As you see, there is no UE right there, okay? So that's why I recommended to use that one, to avoid that error with MiniWord. It's a bug from MiniWord, but you can solve it just by using that, okay? Now that we just created those three dynamics, and that we have this, we are going to just create the first extra dynamic, okay? Here, guys, we are going to create a new one apart from spawn starts that is going to be called collide push, okay? And what is going to do collide push is going to auto push the players when two players collide, okay? So just create a new trigger, rename it, put whatever name you want it. I put it function collide push, but be sure that it's under the folder that says extra dynamics, okay? And how it works, you are going to add a new action, guys. Okay, game logic. Player, when the players collide, you need to find out where it's right here, collision. Okay, once more, you are going to use the same collisions that we always use. We are going to add here an action that is going to be that the players that collide, the target is on red team, okay? You know how to do it already, just go players and determine player team. We are going to create a second one that checks that the actual one that collides is another player, so just go player attribute here. In the first border, select targets in player in the event, max HP greater than 1. Important, greater than 1. And what we are going to do is just to make the player move. Once more, it's just like the effect that we create before for the mine, but it's going to be less power, okay? So how you can do that? Go to player, on player, go here to where it says move player, on towards direction. Okay, select players in trigger event. Once more, on here, we are going to function library and select 3-axis coordinates. And on select player, that you can choose it right here, select player. We are going to select players in trigger event. And we are going to move 0, 1, 0, and the speed is going to be 0.5. With this, every time that the player hits each other, they are going to jump a little bit backwards, okay? Very important, guys. And that's it. Also, I add the sound for the players, so just go here. And you are going to scroll down and there is an option that says sounds. Play the player sound here. And the sound is going to be this one. For me, it's behavior 20. You can put whatever you want it, okay? And once we got this, what you have to do is just be sure that it's completely off at the beginning. Just take out the check mark. And once we do this, and remember we take out the check mark to avoid the game to execute this all the time, just go to your mini games once more. Remember the ice brow that we select? Well, we now have the options to create a couple of things extra. So this is like Metro Room up to the moment, but we are going to add the new functions that we just add. So we are going to add first an object, and the second we are going to activate this new function. So only in this kind of games the players are going to push each other when they hit together. How do you do that? Just add a new action, okay? The action is going to be triggered and it's going to be change trigger status. And the option that we are going to select on here is going to be on extra dynamics and is the one that we just created, collide push, and you are going to turn it on. With this, that function is going to work just for this game. And the second one to actually add items. And remember, those items are going to be the items that can be deleted after the game. That means if you use the same system, whenever the game changes, all the items that are going to be temporal items are going to be removed from the inventory. What you do is just go here, add, okay? And this is how it works. We are going to tell the game assigned an item type, set up right here, okay? And the item type, just select the item that you want to give for the players. As an example, you can give the players a tool that can have like knockback or something like that. In my case, the item that I'm going to give to the players is this one. That what it does is just push the players frontwards a little bit, okay? So you select the item that you want to give to the player. You select inventory 1. If you want to give more than one item that is going to be temporarily, just select for the second one like inventory 2, and for the third one inventory 3, so you can give up to 3 items to the players, temporarily items. And once you do that, and you will set up like the value, what you need to do is just to go here in player group, operate trigger, no player set, and what we are going to do is to just perform the trigger that we create in useful triggers, that is set items. Okay, that is going to give to all players the item that you wanted, and be sure that you execute this for all players in the team. And very important, the team needs to be the team one, okay? Because if you put all the players, the blue team is going to receive it. And with this, as we already create this function on here, you are going to see that the player received more items. If you want to create more than one temporal item, remember, just set up on here on whatever minigame you want to put more than one item in the minigame. Just put on here as an example, then set inventory as inventory 2 as the next item, inventory 3 as the next item, but be sure that this one, the perform function set items to all players, is after all of that, okay? And right now we have the 2 games completely, and also we have some extra features that we are going to use a lot of against this game, okay? On this one, the class has been already ending, guys. And right now, if you have a question, please ask me, because I will be able to answer your questions. Very important, let me take the time. On here, I want to do a double check here. In minigame brain. And let me check, because I remember that Saint tells me that he got an error with the coins here, okay? Let me check that error. I want to resolve this. Okay, so this is the code that you got, Saint, and it's the same code that we got here. So probably the error was because you don't have all the options that he did here. Try now, because it seems that after adding more minigames, it's going to be resolved, okay? That's going to be resolved most of the times, but just let me know into the Discord channel, just in case that happens once more, okay? And that will be it for now, guys. With this, I end the class. Please, I'm going to start to play, but if you ask me some questions, I will be able to test. Oh, a quick tip, guys, okay? And this is going to be for all of you. If you want to test any specific game, as an example, you want to be sure that your mature game is going to work fine, and you don't want to be teleported to other games, you only need to be teleported, as an example, for that one. Just remember the ID of your game. And what you do here is just to move to your brain, okay? And in your brain, you are going to add a new line, okay? The line is going to be like this. Just copy and paste this, but put the ID of the minigame that you want to test twice, okay? And let me put here, very important, as an example, if I only want to test the meteor, I will be able to do this, okay? And if I put play on the game, I will be teleported to only that game. Remember, the number one is our okay, something happens here. Definitely it's not the way that I expected, but okay, let me check what happened here, guys. Just a second. Map register. Okay, I need to delete this. Okay, yes, meteor room. Okay. All right, and in brain. Okay, that happens. What happens is that I got here my test feature activated, and it was just testing the game one. Now it's the same as you see, but with the game one. And now let me show you very quickly. Hello, welcome Foxy 7846. This is a tool I also implement just in case you want to test only one game. As you see, it's going to teleport me only to that game in case you want to test only one game, okay? Once more, if you want to just test one game, just go to brain, go to the first option that is switch game, and put that line. And whenever you don't want to test anything, just put two scores, two dashes, sorry, before that name, and this is going to be color green. That means that this is not going to work and your game is going to work normally, okay? So once more, as an example, if I want to test the Brawl, that is the ID number 2, remember, we set it up as number 2, we just put 2 2s in here, and whenever I start the game, I always will be teleported to that specific game. Let me show you once more. As you see, we always are going to be teleported to that one. And even if we change the game, let me wait here the 20 seconds. You always are going to be teleported there if everything is working fine. So you will be able to test game per game, even if you create your new games. Just by knowing the idea of your game, you will be able to teleport to that area, okay? 11 seconds more to show you that specific feature. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 1 second, and I'm going to be teleported to the same arena because I just put that code, okay? If you don't want to be, and once more, when you are playing multiplayer, be sure that you just delete that line or just put 2 lines here, okay? So if you want to do that. And that's it, guys. That's like an extra trick. Welcome, Kenchip. And that will be it, guys. For now, as I have a medical appointment, I cannot play some rooms with you, but guys, remember, if you want to show me your work during the week, so as an example, you can tell me, hey, test my map, or something is happening to me. Remember, you can contact me by Discord, or you can just put a comment here. I will be able to read your comment. That will be it for now, guys. Thank you so much, and thank you for assisting to the class. Very important, guys, remember that I'm going to submit the resume for this class, and I dividing actually all the different resumes in 3 parts. So it's going to be 3 different videos, so you will be able to check only the part that you need, okay? So be pending to the channel and see you next week.